What's up, deckheads? Welcome back to MTG with me. It's the Gainswalker. Today I've got some standard ranked matches for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel. Fairly new, free-to-play player. Been working with this Boros deck for a while. If you've been watching, you know that's my favorite kind of deck to build. A little bit fast. Usually somehow involving Indestructible. If I can, Double Strike and Trample. And with the newest set, the Lost Caverns of Ixalan, there have been a lot of cards that can kind of play into this, especially sideboard cards too. There's a 3-drop that gets rid of a graveyard at its flash, and it's a 3/1. It's got a lot of different options to choose from when it enters battlefield, so it makes it a lot easier to play in standard. And there's another one that allows me to discard more and you know, more +1/+1 counters, that kind of stuff. So hopefully I can show you kind of how that works. This is almost a keep. I really want to see one more land here so that I could play Virtuoso by turn 3 and protect it with Lauren's Escape. I've got the combo right here, Illuminator, Virtuoso, and Angel Fire, so I think that'll keep that. Also, if you have Face Breaker out after Illuminator, and you swing with Illuminator and they don't do anything about it, that's 2 more treasure tokens, just really big ramp. So I'm going to keep it. We'll try. We'll see. I don't think it's going to work. A lot of times you run into just complete removal. I'll say that's just how standard is right now, so you kind of have to prepare for that. That's why I have the Lauren's Escapes in there. I also have another one, can't remember what it's called, but it's a 2-drop, Indestructible or destroy target creature with toughness 4 or greater. Awesome, we got the land. This is a perfect turn 2 drop, Guardian of New Benalia, because I can tap it right now if they try to remove it. So if my opponent kept that mana open and wanted to remove it, I could discard a card, keep it indestructible. The main thing is I can keep a board state with it. Now if they play Liliana, alright, ooh, -3, minus number, those will get past indestructible, so I'm not going to discard something here. But Liliana turn 3, that's a really tough one to get through. But I still haven't found a deck that really answers Liliana anyway, so. Alright, we'll put out Illuminator. I can protect it with Lauren's Escape. Looks like if they had the 1-drop, destroy target creature with power plus toughness less than 5, they would have already done that, and they didn't. So they swing with this 3/3. Alright, they didn't. I was going to try to block and use Lauren's Escape. They're not, so that's great. I'll do Angel Fire here. Pitch Survivor Coreless, and it's not even giving them a chance to respond, so I'm guessing they have like Sheldred, some 4-drops, higher level cards here. So that is going to be 8 damage swing, so 16-point difference there. That is just nuts. The Vigilance, Life, Link, Trample, Indestructible, Haste. I mean, it's so good. Plus I get to draw and pitch a card, just organize my hand. This is why this combo is so good and so hard to make a deck without it. You know, once I started using this combo, I was like, this is so good. They're not gonna swing. Sweet. Hopefully I draw a land. Didn't, but hey. Ooh, I got another Angel Fire, which means I can just do it again, and they're gonna have to do something probably. I will pitch. I can pitch a 2-drop or a 3-drop and play them later. So I think what I'll do here is I'll just pitch the 3-drop. Alright, so that is lethal. They'll have to block with something. Probably gonna be the 3/3. Ooh, no, they won't with Sheldred. Okay. Still holding on to that Lauren's Escape, just in case. And they haven't had an answer this whole time, so they must draw an answer. I don't think they did. What I really want to see, though, is a land or another Angel Fire. Just so if I cast it and they have removal, they don't have it. That way I could just kind of like keep pushing through. That combination is just crazy. And you don't want to go to a mid to late game in Standard because there's so many decks out there that just pump out heavy creatures from the graveyard, or even just off the top. There's one Azurius deck, sometimes you see it as Esper Control, that just pumps out cards for free from the tops of their library in their hand, and it's a bit obnoxious. So you want to keep a board state and get rid of the graveyards, or at the very least your opponent's graveyard, and that'll help you with most of the deck types that you see. For the mono red aggro that you'll see for the kind of faster decks like the Selesnya enchantment deck, so mono red aggro, if you use Blast Zone, look up that card, it's a land, enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. You can add counters to it and tap it to destroy non-land permanents of that equal to that CMC. That's very powerful. It's like a specific board wipe, not a really or specific removal. This is a good keep. I'm gonna keep this same thing we did last time. Just gonna keep rolling with that. But the specific removal is very helpful against mono red because they're using like all 1-drops and just trying to push through. So even if you don't have any lifelink, you can just turn 4, play Blast Zone, use it on their turn, and get rid of all their 1-drops, and that'll help you kind of pace out that deck. For the Selesnya enchantment deck, they use mainly 2-drops, so as soon as you can, you'll probably pump that up to 2, and then when they try to just lay everything down because they make it all cost cheaper and they're, you know, exiling all your stuff with ossification and all these other things that you'll be able to. So I'm not going to play it this turn. I'm going to wait to play it turn 3 so that I can protect it. They're showing Esper, so I'm going to just sit tight. But yeah, Blast Zone, great land. You could put it in any deck. I highly suggest it if you're playing Standard, just so that you can get past all that nonsense. Oh, interesting. Could be a 5-color deck. Down your third pass. That's in sorcery 1 or 2. Okay, they're milling. So yet another graveyard. Graveyard deck. So we got to be careful about that. Let's get Illuminator out. We will protect it, and turn 4, we'll do the same thing. Angel Fire, Lauren's Escape. If I really wanted to, I would play Face Breaker and get ready to do that the next turn, but I don't want a deck like this to go too long. Look, they've already got Portal to Phyrexia, and I don't have that 3-drop I said main board. I only have that on the sideboard. These are best of 1 matches, so I just need to hit as fast as I can. Drop. There are some cards that they can pitch stuff from the graveyard. Let's see. Fathomless Descent. Return to the battlefield. Target non-land permanent card with mana value less than or equal to the number of permanents in your graveyard. Okay, so they would have done Portal to Phyrexia. Alright, this is enter the battlefield, mill 3 cards. You may put a non-creature non-land from among the milled cards this way into your hand. If you don't, put a +1/+1. Okay. So they just want to keep milling. Push through. I will pitch an Illuminator because we just drew another one, and we're gonna keep pushing. So I should be able to get almost lethal next turn. Well, they block, so they'll be down to 16, but it's not bad. It's close. I'd have to pitch 2 non-lands, so I want them to tap out and not create a board state here. Exile target instant or sorcery card from the graveyard. Copy it. Okay, so now they're going to get Portal to Phyrexia. I think it's exile all my cards, or all my creatures. Alright, so Portal to Phyrexia. Oh, I have to sack 3 creatures. Okay, so no matter what, I'm kind of boned here. There's not much I'm going to be able to do to get rid of Portal. And they're going to keep bringing creatures from the graveyard. Let's see what they got. They don't have anything really fancy right now, but it's going to be a problem for sure. Okay. I am gonna do this. I'm gonna put 2 creatures out, do 2 drops, and just kind of hope that I can outplay whatever creature they're about to put down. Probably gonna be an Illuminator, but that's fine. No, they're gonna pull Archaeologist. Okay, so ETB mill 3. They're just trying to mill as much as they can to get to these bigger creatures. Okay, they're gonna pull a Trox out next turn. That's disgusting. I do have a way around it, but I haven't drawn it yet. Oh, pull another portal out. Alright, so that's gonna be game right there. This is what I'm talking about. Gotta get rid of that graveyard. Now, I might put in that 3-drop, put that 3-drop back in, but that was pretty fast. I would have needed to have that 3-drop in my opening hand or close to, so. Alright. I could send across the 2/2, make it a 3/3, the land here. That's not really going to help me. Put Face Breaker out, but here comes a Troxa, and then that's going to be pretty much it. They're going to draw, well, I don't know, 7, 8 cards or whatever. Look at the top 10 cards for each card type, put it in your hand. So that's going to be a huge draw. If you've got board wipes, you could use them, but not with Portal. Gotta have some sort of artifact or enchantment removal. That's not something that I've mainboarded, so you'll see these decks all over. So definitely gotta prepare for graveyard removal. Should be able to swing across here. We can hit for 5, go down to 23. Yeah, one of the main things to do is to, if you can only remove specific cards, wait for them to target the card. So like with Portal to Phyrexia, you have to target what card you're going to pull on the upkeep. It says at the beginning of your upkeep, put target creature card from a graveyard, so either graveyard. And so what you'll want to do is wait for them to target what they want to pull, and then exile that card. So if you're using the Hearse, the 2-drop, tap it, exile 2 cards, and put counters on it from a target graveyard, you would wait till they pick and then do that, and that would really help. I am gonna block just to do this. It's kind of useful. It's not an answer though. I gotta get rid of a Troxa, but they're just gonna keep pulling a Troxa out. So. This is the card I was talking about, Inti, Seneschal of the Sun. Whenever you attack, discard a card. You can put a +1/+1 counter on target creature gains trample. So that helps Illuminator so much. That's why I have that in the deck. Can't pull through, they would just gain 7 life. This is pretty much it at this point. I'm not going to be able to do anything. I'm at 28, so that's 2 turns. That's basically like a 3-turn clock, and I don't have anything for that, so let's see if they start swinging. Oh, and this is the card I was talking about, where you just play stuff for free from your hand. This is one with the multiverse. It's 8 mana, look at the top card at any time. Play land, cast spells from the top of your library. Once during each of your turns, you may cast a spell from your hand without paying its mana cost. So they just put 2 of those out. They're going to play stuff for free, and if you get rid of it, they're going to play it from the graveyard. So you really need graveyard removal and board wipes for a lot of these decks, but I mean, board wipes aren't going to help you with every deck. There's plenty of stuff out there where that's just going to be useless. So best of 1 matches. I don't know if it's worth it putting it in. You could always just have it on the sideboard in case you need it, but I could team block, but that's kind of, they'll just play it again from the graveyard, so no block. Nothing I can do with this one. and the first non-creature spell will be countered from Jin-Gitaxias. I believe that's the one. Yep. So, nothing to do with this one. Moving on to the next one. Standard really switching up though from the latest set. I really like that. I mean, it's you still have those decks out there, but there's a lot, I'll say, better ideas. There's a Gruul Dinosaur deck that's kind of cool. There is a Simic Merfolk deck that's pretty popular. A lot of cool stuff. We'll start with this. Pitch Sarah. My deck's all about resilience and getting damage out quickly, so even if you do remove that early game, Valor's Stance, that's the card I was trying to talk about. So this is my way to get rid of Atraxa kind of easy, or Sheldred, that kind of stuff, and I can still use it to help Illuminator if I have it out. But it's cool. I like the ideas that are out there. No attacks here. I'll use it as a blocker, and then I can scry with Survivor of Corliss. The reason why I've got Survivor in there is because it's a 1/1 first strike. So with Facebreaker out, anytime you deal combat damage, you get a treasure token. So if I deal first strike damage and then regular combat damage, that's 2 treasure tokens. And so you could get a lot of ramp even without green, which is awesome. Likewise, if I've got something with double strike and that gets through, or like double strike trample, even better, then it's that first strike damage plus regular combat damage. That's what double strike is, and just gives you just a crazy amount of ramp. So I like that. Swinging with the 3/3. Probably gonna put the 2 first, yeah. Ooh, are they gonna burn? Going for the burn here. Okay, so then I will protect Survivor of Corliss. And I might as well get rid of that. Kind of exhausted my hand there, but might be worth it here. I can swing it across. Get some scry action. So I will do the enlist. This is another. I can't believe this card has so many abilities that are awesome here. But I'm going to enlist, tap a creature that doesn't have summoning sickness, and scry too. Awesome. I'll keep one of the inties so that I can help Illuminator. They're going to take the 3 down to 17, and we're in a good spot for trading damage. At the beginning of your end step, if you descended, create a treasure token. So if they discard a card, oh, that's not that. Or if permanent put to your graveyard from anywhere. That's honestly, that might be worth putting in. Okay. I will swing with both. Let's swing with that. Alright, so now I will discard Sarah Paragon so that I can play hopefully a land. Put the +1/+1 on Illuminator. Try. We'll keep that. Actually, the next turn I could play a land, or if I can keep Facebreaker out and swing past them, which I'm guessing I'll be able to, then I could play the land from sacking the treasure token. So I'm going to do it like that. Okay. Now remember, Illuminator is going to get Trample if I can discard a card, so I won't be able to do that right away, but still worth looking at. Oh, never mind, he's out. Opponent's got 3 cards in hand, 3 lands, and 2 map tokens. I'm a little iffy on the map tokens. I'm not sure if that's an amazing idea. It's an artifact. There's plenty of artifact stuff with the Wilds of Eldraine set. I mean, could be useful. And they're passive. Okay. Let's do this. I'm gonna enlist with this. It's gonna be a 4/2. It might just take it. It might trade. I don't know. At this point, I'm just trying to have a better board state than them, so I want them to block. If they don't, great. They go to 9. They should block with the 1/1, sack the map token, and see if they get the... Is that only a sorcery? Ah, only a sorcery. That's why. Two, 3, flyer. Tap something down. Oh, they become treasure artifacts. Nice. Okay. Monster. Okay. I'll get a plains. I'll swing through, and I'll try to get some treasure tokens of my own to sack. Oh, I see what their strategy is. They're trying to use the Unoccult Anvil to sack treasure map tokens and treasure tokens to deal damage and create more of a board state. It's an old strategy, but it might work. Who knows? Let's see. That needs 2 people to block. That needs 1. That needs 1. That's a little iffy. Let's do this. Gonna enlist with Face Breaker. Probably not gonna block a 4/2. Brass Tunnel Grinder. That might help me, but I really need an Angel Fire here. So I could play that, pitch the plains, draw 2 cards. That might be better than sacking treasure token, so we'll see. Or 2. I'm okay with it. Alright, now I'm just trying to get card advantage. Okay, it's not bad. Swing with everything. 8 damage. Put me at 12. Nope. Alright, no blocks. I anticipate that 4/4 climbing, so I want to save that 1/1 chop for a better time. And send the 2/3 across, get a treasure token. Why not? interesting matchup for sure. I've not seen a Grixis deck that creates a board state like this, but let's see what they do. Probably not swing, yeah. Okay, now we can get a little bit of something going on here. Let's do this. I'll start swinging over the top with Sarah Paragon. I'll discard a card that'll give me something else to play each turn, and then I could play Benalia from my hand after I sack it, or not from my hand, but I could sack it and play it next turn. Even better, play Illuminator. I could start sacking those treasure tokens to find Angel Fire and push through. Kind of a this match is good for kind of seeing like what my deck is gonna do mid to late game. Just kind of keep recycling the stuff that I was pushing with. All right, I think we've got them on board state, unless they do something crazy here like a board wipe. Okay. So, just because they cycled, they would have gotten 2 more treasure tokens. That's so nuts. That card actually might be worth playing. So, as far as the deck build, let me kind of show you what's going on here. Curve 2.6, very early curve. Let me switch that up so you can see. Very early curve, 2.6. Solid Boros deck, a lot of creatures. I do have some non-creatures, but those are mainly instant speed, indestructible kind of stuff. And then the Planeswalker, I've got Elspeth and Quintorius, which are awesome. So let me show you here. So we've got Lauren's Escape, Survivor, Coreless, that's because the first strike damage. Guardian of New Benalia, indestructible, really helps you against the Dimir, Rakdos, that early game just mono black removal. You're going to be able to get around that with this, where they're going to ditch their cards just to keep trying to remove it, which is awesome. Then you could play Illuminator turn 3, protect it with your turn 1 Lord's Escape, or maybe play it turn 4 and protect it with your Valorous Stance as a 2-drop with 2 open mana. So then you also have Inti, which is basically just all of this is going to create the chance for a better opening hand to do the Illuminator Angel Fire. And those cards alone, Inti and Illuminator, they're going to help you draw. They're going to play stuff off the top of the library. They're going to do a lot. I put in Brass Tunnel Grinder thinking that would really help, but it just takes a while. It's not, if you pitch 3 cards, you don't get 3 counters on it. You get 1 a turn. And that's where this card, you think it's going to be great. It kind of is, because, you know, ditch cards draw that many +1. That's pretty powerful, right? Especially if you're running low and, you know, your opponent's right there with you, helps you kind of get a better board state. And then when you flip it, it says whenever you cast a permanent spell using mana produced by this, discover X, where X is the spell's value. That's awesome. Discover is a great mechanic, and it's kind of like Cascade, but it's just hard to flip. And so that's I'm probably going to get rid of that and put in some of the stuff I have on the sideboard. Facebreaker's nuts. If you play Illuminator turn 2 and Facebreaker turn 3, when you swing on turn 3, you get 5 mana. So turn 4, put down like an Elspeth or a Quintarius Con, and that's a pretty solid board state. Turn 4, well, Angel Fire we already know, that's a solid card either way. Sarah Paragon, turn 4 is amazing. This card allows you to play stuff from your graveyard. So the cards that say graveyard can't be targeted with spells or abilities, that you're not targeting it. This card just says you're allowed to play it. So it gets around all that. You don't have to worry about it. All those removal burn decks where they burn stuff early, you know, turn 4 you play 3/4 flyer. I mean, that's pretty solid. It's not amazing. I mean, a 4-drop 4/4 is vanilla, but a 4-drop 3/4 flyer with all this, it's definitely mythic. And that'll help you play all the other stuff, which is cool. As far as the lands, I've got Restless Bayuvek. I can't say that. Bayuvek, whatever. It's a 3-drop, becomes a 2/2. When it attacks, put a +1/+1 on target attacking creature. I'm sorry. Whenever this attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. So I can put that. I can swing with this and put it on a defensive creature that I'm like waiting to block with. But it's also really good because all those board wipe decks, even against Liliana, this is a great card to have. So that you play your turn 3, they play their turn 3. It's Liliana. They make you sack your creature. It's your only one. My deck usually has one out that I'm protecting, so Liliana just wrecks it. Right? You're gonna make me sack the creature that I've been kind of protecting this whole time. Really hard to play around, but if you have this out, you kind of swing through, and it's much faster than a blast zone. This is that card I was talking about. It's really good against those mono red decks. That very powerful. Definitely want to see this. And for the sideboard, some life gain. Adversary's cool. It used to have more of like a token thing going on, and that's why it's still in there. Cut Zill Flanker, this is the card I was talking about. So, Flash, 3-drop, 3/1. Put a +1/+1 counter for each creature that left the battlefield under my control this turn. So if they board wipe you, play this, boom. Keep sending damage across the board. Gain 2 life, scry 2 if nothing else is going on, or exile player's graveyard. Which is awesome. You see a deck like one of the ones we saw in that game too. Just remove the graveyard. Not a problem. They're doing all this work to throw stuff into the graveyard. Get rid of it. Make them work harder for it. And they actually had to use stuff in their graveyard to keep doing it. So if you get this out early to mid game, you might stop them from putting out a Troxo or a Tali or some of those ridiculous cards early. My board wipes, Urza, Silex, Depop. Those are the only ones that I can really use right now. I hope they have better board wipes coming, just because a lot of board state decks, so could be fun. Urza Silex is great though. 4 tap. If you pay 2 extra, search for a Planeswalker, put it in your hand, and you destroy all other permanents, and they get to keep 6 lands. So all those mana ramp or all those land ramp decks where they just keep pulling stuff out, and then they have to pick 6, like really evens up the board state. So that's why I like that. Ryu Storm's Edge, great card. Can't really fit it in. 4-drop 3/3 first strike. It's a warrior, which is awesome. And so whenever I use Facebreaker and swing with it, I could swing again. Which, if they've only got 1 out, just extra treasure tokens, it's all good. And if you do Angel Fire on Ryu, that's 10 damage right there. And if you could find some way to give him double strike, that's like 20 damage. So it's a good card. I like it. That's why I keep it on the sideboard. Chandra Hope's Beacon. Chandra, the best Planeswalker. Everybody knows this. 6-drop, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy it. Awesome. +2, add 2 mana of any combo. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Exile the top 5 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may cast an instant or sorcery spell from among them. That's kind of cool. Kind of works with Quintarius Con, because every time you play an exiled card, deal 2 damage and gain 2 life. So kind of. It is a +1 ability, so it's not going to be that crazy. And then -X damage to each of up to 2 targets. Also good. I mainly have that on the sideboard just because, even though I never use it in the deck, I like having it just because that's my favorite Planeswalker. So, but that's the deck. Pretty fast. Hope you like it. I do appreciate you joining me. And as always, watch these games, get those gains, and walk those planes. Until next time, deckheads, keep it easy.